Last week I learned a very important lesson. It all started out like this. I went to school like any other day, like any other school day, except I felt like copying a show that I like on TV. The show is called Night Court.
We were only 11, but acting like grown-ups like we are in the present. Drinking from plastic cups, singing love is forever and never. Well, I guess that was true. Dancing on the hood in the middle.
Hello, welcome to Journaling Through the Years, episode 38. I am Leah. Fun fact, every time I record a new one of these every Monday, I have to go look on my YouTube and see what the number was previous to that. That's fun. Let's see what else. My hair looks really good today. You know what I did? I brushed it. I just brushed it before I came on. So there you go. I'm drinking out of this mug. I like a clear mug. A clear mug is nice. I'm going to try to get this done in 30 minutes or under. So we'll see. I always say that. Because I have to leave in an hour. And so if I get this done in 30 minutes, I might be able to edit it and turn it around and get it out for the Patreon patrons. Because they get to see it before the rest of the world. So if you want to be a patron, www.patreon.com/CafeGirl Thriving Artists. And you get this 7 days early release and podcasts early release. And this Wednesday, this actual coming up Sunday, Sunday, March 20th at 7 p.m. is the release of the long-awaited Mindsick, which is the continuing Doctor Who series. Finally done, finally ready for the world. We filmed it last in 2019, and I had all these tech issues and plus a learning curve of learning how to do sci-fi special effects editing, and yeah, it's ready. So that's really cool. You can check that out on Facebook or on the Time Keys YouTube channel. You can go to the website, www.cafegirlproductionsinc.com for all those links. Or even you're on this channel, go to our future channel list, and there's Time Keys right there, and go click and subscribe, and then you'll get it, and you'll be able to watch it if you don't already. So I only have one thing to read today, and it's a little bit of a doozy. So I've only kind of skimmed through it, but it's a moment in my life that I remember that was it was painful in the moment, and I didn't understand, and I was a little girl, and I remember it pretty vividly. So something I'm like, do I want to look back on this? But I'm going to. December 4th, 1989. Dear Diary, hi, my name is, and this diary is my private property. If this gets lost, please return it to. This diary is strictly private. Oops. Sorry, Leah from the past. I'm reading your diary. Last week I learned a very important lesson. It all started out like this. I went to school like any other day, like any other school day, except I felt like copying a show that I like on TV. The show is called Night Court. I wanted to copy when a note had a death threat on it for Harry. Well, I was going to write a note that said death to whoever I chose in my class. I chose Jay. Anyway, first I took a blank piece of paper and wrote death to Jay on it, but then I lost it, so I chose a paper, this is dumb, with my name on it. I wrote death, and then inside I wrote death to Jay. When I got to reading, I dropped it, and then Michael Jean and asked me if it fell from my book. I said no. When the others got to reading, they all wanted it. I wouldn't let them have it. When we went into the classroom, I threw it away and went to my seat. Later on, YL went and got it. She dug into it with her friends, A, M, J, and J, another J. They found out that I had done it and told J and M, who told S, N, and K. Anyway, the lesson that I learned was that real life isn't like night court. I just thought it worked out just fine. I'd get somebody to throw it in through the window, and then I would pick it up and read it just like Dan and say, "Oh, it's for you, Jay." And everybody would laugh. Also, wise eyes looked at me and they felt like two pins attacking my whole body. Or two cat's eyes looking at you. Really looking at you mad, really mad, boring into my body all over. I just felt miserable. So we're going to talk about that. I mean, I think children do this, and young people, they do this where they have to go through a period of time where they have to separate fact from fiction, reality from fantasy, and I think this also speaks to something that I've even dealt with in later on, in the sense of not really having a lot of kind of training in my life, in my upbringing, that allowed me to know how to function in the society. I mean, that's not something you're born doing. You're not born with how to be in relationship with people, so too, because people are all different and you're going to butt heads, and they all come from different places, and we have to learn how to work through those differences in order to maintain the relationship, if possible, or to part in a way that is healthy for both. But I think that I didn't have a fair shake, in that I didn't have the tools given to me in whatever way, for whatever reason, to know fact from fiction. To know that maybe this wasn't the right thing to do. I didn't want to kill this girl. I think ultimately later on my high school classmates figured that out. Like, no, like she didn't. Although, as we get into the Christian years in my 20s and early 30s, I did have those homicidal thoughts, and I did speak them out in some way that got me into a little bit of trouble. And I'm saying that now not to dwell on it, not to talk about how great I am, or like that's a good thing, but to just admit, I think my strength and part of my marketing for the service I want to offer and how I can help the world is by admitting all the crazy things I've done. But ultimately, I don't want to kill anyone. Part of it is nobody's worth ruining my life over. And second of all, I don't really like hurting people. Even when I would yell at them, even when I would have my emotional breakdowns and freakouts and say all these horrible things and do all these horrible things, I always felt horrible about it, ultimately. So, and a lot of it was coming from my PTSD and not having the tools to know how to regulate my emotions, or not being allowed to even feel my emotions throughout my life. So there's that. But I want to be on TV so bad. And funny enough, I want to be on Night Court. And I underlined it. Sorry, the brightness. Like you know how when you learn in school, if you're born in America, you learn to underline the titles of something. Look at that writing. Look how nice my writing was. I don't write this nice anymore. Like, I know this is a child writing, but this is nice. I hate the smell of hairspray, and most of my friends wear it. I try to act nice, but sometimes I feel like I'm going to puke. Yeah, I didn't like that. I've never really liked sharp smells like that. I've never, like, certain smells. Even like when you wash your sheets, I don't like to use the little cloths that you put in the dryer because it just itches and it doesn't feel right. Very sensitive skin, very sensitive person in many regards. In middle school after this, I was one of the unpopular kids, as I would say. And these were the popular girls that I mentioned. That was that happens in junior high, middle school, the rift of the people. And I was on the lower tier, and I can't help but have to say that this might have been a thing, and I don't blame them. If they get a note and they don't know the joke, and I don't say it, do they think, okay, this girl's crazy, she wants to kill us, or kill one of us, or kill someone? I don't. But whatever, it's like in their head, and so they're going to put a little barrier on that, and it's going to come out as popular versus unpopular. Later on, I worked through it, and I think once I got to high school and kind of got my own friends, it leveled out. And obviously now it doesn't. And that is something that I am grateful that the majority of them that were with me in childhood and there in this time love me. I can count on their love. And they saw me growing up, and they've probably seen some crazy things and just want me in their life. Even if it's not like consistent, I still feel like at different times they've reached out and they've said, hey, if you want to, let's talk. Here's my phone number. Talk to me on the phone sometime, whatever. And I don't often do it, but I'm looking back on that connection that I've had throughout the time after high school, and I overwhelmingly have felt love coming back from my high school classmates. And I think that's something that has kept me alive, that I have that family, and that it started majority in elementary school, and the majority of it, they've seen this girl growing up that had a lot of issues and had a lot of breakdowns and did a lot of weird stuff, especially in elementary school. In high school and middle school, I became even shyer and knew how to more go inward and just cover it, so that unless they knew me outside of school, they might have seen that. But I found different ways to kind of act out towards them by being maybe sarcastic or keeping a wall up or this and that. But now I know why they had that wall up initially, because of this instance. And as little kids, we wouldn't have the tools to be able to forgive or to work through it or to ask, hey, this happened, and then they'll like sit with them. Like they didn't have that tool. Their only tool was, I'm going to protect myself, and it's going to look like this. And I get that, and I get that now, and I don't harbor any resentment, and I'm grateful. And if they see this, thank you. Thank you for being my family, and for always, whenever I have seen you in the past, whenever that was, when I was living down in California, or our 10-year reunion, making me feel accepted and warm, even though you've seen me throughout life and you didn't maybe see the late 20s, early 30s full breakdown and therapy years, but you were there in the formidable years that helped me when I got to the late 20s, early 30s, know that I'm worthy of existing and staying around and not giving in, because of your love, because you saw me through it, and you didn't just turn away from me ultimately. So thank you. Thank you for your love.
We were only 11, but acting like grown-ups, like we are in the present. Drinking from plastic cups, singing love is forever and never. Well, I guess that was true. Fast forward to 18, we are more than lovers. Yeah, we are all we need when we're holding each other. I'm taken back to 2002. Yeah, dancing on the hood in the middle of the woods of an old Mustang, where we sang songs with all our childhood friends. And it went like this, say, oops, I got 99 problems singing bye, bye, bye. Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time. Paint a picture for you and me on the days when we were young, singing off the top of both our lungs on the day we fell in love. On the day we fell in love. Dancing on the hood in the middle of the woods of an old Mustang, where we sang songs with all our childhood friends. Oh, now, oops, I got 99 problems singing bye, bye, bye. Hold up, if you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time. Paint a picture for you and me on the days when we were young, singing at the top of both our lungs on the day we fell in love. 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 Love, love.